or less, it's about 50 years or 5 decades or more. So, are leaving, and they're leaving now, and we say they're not real investors. Okay, and he also added that he is not a sycophant, that he's one of those people who would have, campaigned against it if the president's policies are not, are not good policies and are not, helping the economy. According to him, these companies are those who have been benefiting from oil theft. They've been benefiting from subsidy and even the foreign exchange regime that was mismanaged. They said that's why they're leaving there, because they cannot benefit anymore. Now, on the surface, it looks like it makes sense, but again, if you look deeper into it, you'd see that this man was governor when the last administration was there. All right, he didn't campaign against the investors who are leaving now, and say he didn't campaign against those who he said are the cabal who hijacks the foreign exchange. He didn't campaign against the oil theft, and now investors are leaving, and he say, oh, it's because they've been benefiting. So where have you been since all the while that they've been benefiting? It wasn't like you were not there. You've been senator, you've been a governor for 4 years, and all this while you never said these things. What is happening now? Is it that we will just do anything or say anything just so that we can defend, our party and the politics? Because these investors are leaving, they're divesting. Yes, it would create space for, local investors to play in the oil space, but nothing really stops them from playing in the oil space a long time ago. And if we're creating space for them, what happens to the dollars and the crude oil that these companies have repatriated over time to the countries and all of that? Are we going to open the books to scrutinize them? It's not enough to say, oh, they've been stealing, they've been doing this, they've been doing that. Now giving them a bad name now that they're leaving. Let's also probe it. Let's also open the books up and see what's going on there. Wouldn't it make more sense? I'll let you listen to the governor on that intervention or interaction with the presenter on TV. Get to listen for yourself, and then we get talking about it. What you make about it?
Telling them, because you are speaking from one side of the society. Let me tell you something. If the policies, the situation as it is now today, and the negative impact of removing a cabal that have managed our exchange rate programs over the years to their interest without some pains. This initial pains is why federal government has introduced some measures, what we call palliative measures.
But they will ask you, they've not seen.
No, it can never
how many people.
It can never be enough, because it cannot only dash fish to human beings. You must teach a human being how to fish. The giving of palliatives by forms of foodstuffs, palliative envelopes, can never be enough. We are trying. The president, as I understand, is trying to bring a permanent solution to the problems of poverty, hunger, and then bad economy. So I think that, speaking with the president, I'm the chairman of Progressive Governors Forum. I preside over the meetings of 20 governors in Nigeria out of 36. I've interacted with the president. And Shehu, you don't know me to be a sycophant. If the president has no clear direction of what will lead Nigeria to prosperity, I will be one of those that will first begin to protest. But he has a solution I have considered a permanent solution.
This pain and this suffering.
I don't believe in hypothesis. I don't come here and sit and become a prophet. But I tell you, in my findings and understanding of the country, that there exists cabals and deities who before dollar business can be conducted must be worshipped, who before political decisions must be taken must be consulted. And this has become a retardation for the progress of Nigeria.
Why can't we take out these cabals? Are they bigger than
No, this is
Nigeria?
they are the people sponsoring both artificial media. They are the people sponsoring opposition to come with the blackmail and the negative propaganda against a president who is very versatile, who is from the private sector, who meant well, who wants to correct the ills of the past.
Are they the same people who are sponsoring foreign investors who are leaving the country in droves?
No, those living are not investors. They are those who were benefiting from the cabal system. When they tell you they're leaving because they can no longer benefit from foreign exchange disparity. They can no longer benefit from crude oil theft. They can no longer benefit from the cases of petroleum subsidy, pretending to be importing fuel when they were not importing anyone, forging documents to access of government money. Those are the people living. And again, it is a blessing in disguise, because the more they live, the more opportunity the indigenous companies will have to participate. There is no rocket science. There is no foreign investor who is comfortable in his country that will want to leave his country and come here. And at the same time, there is the people of the good investors and genuine investors who are Nigerians, who have been denied opportunity to practice and invest. They now have opportunity to do so. So I think the earlier the artificial and fake investors telling them, because you ask.
All right, that's the governor of Imo State there, Governor Hope Uzodinma, and his thoughts on, what's going on in the country. That's that aside. Experts are saying, because looking at the foreign exchange regime, where he was talking about a cabal that had seized the country's foreign exchange program and all of that. Experts are saying that there's a big possibility that before the end of the second quarter, there's a big chance that the naira would trade at about 2,000 naira per dollar. And that's worrisome, because if we say that there was a cabal that hijacked the foreign exchange regime of the country and benefited themselves, at the time when that so-called cabal left, the naira was trading at about 700 naira. And if that has gone up to over 1,000, almost 1,500 naira, I think, over the weekend, before the close of trade on Friday, what does that say? Because it means that the foreign exchange has doubled. The price of the dollar against the naira has doubled in the last 5 months or 6 months. So is there still a cabal that has hijacked this one? If there's no cabal, then what is it that's wrong with the foreign exchange? Because as a result of that, manufacturers are saying that they're also going to push the prices of things. Prices of products would skyrocket. I mean, there's no magic about this. I tried to analyze this thing the other day about how the cost of everything, the cost of dollar, or the price of dollar affects the cost of everything in the market. For those of you who followed on Friday, it affects the price of everything, including your house rent. Very soon, your landlords will start to increase rents because the dollar is going up. And in a situation where everything is, almost everyone is trading in dollar now, because the naira seems to have lost so much value. The naira has lost about 96% of its value in the last 5 months or 6 months now. And if that's the case, many businesses, real estate companies, traders and all, pricing their goods and services in the dollar. People are selling real estate in Nigeria in dollars. You have to pay in dollars. You can't pay in naira, because they also import the materials that they use to build, and they also want to make profit and recoup whatever investments they made in those real estates. And if they have to price their houses in naira, then it's going to most likely lose. They're most likely going to run out of loss, because the naira keeps losing its value. So everyone wants to preserve their wealth and whatever it is that they've invested. You want to invest, rather protect their investments and retain the value of the monies invested. So they look for stable currencies, which is most likely the dollar now. to make sure that they invest in that. Now the question is, if those people who we refer now to as the cabal, according to the former governor of the governor of the of Imo State, and in that, probably referring to the former CBN, governor and his team, what has now happened? Is there now a new cabal? Did we hand over, the foreign exchange regime to a new cabal? Is it one cabal going away and for another to take over? Is that the situation? Because the situation hasn't gotten better. And he says, oh, it's not going to be. I mean, it's been 6 whole months. 6 whole months. And before you know it, it's going to be a year since these policies have come to be. And Nigerians are still not seeing anything getting better. The federal government has said, well, the CNG program, the palliatives have been put in place to cushion the effects of subsidy removal, which is one of the biggest problems that Nigerians are facing at the moment. And I bet, speaking of good news, reading about the Kano Lagos rail line resuming by the NRC sounds like good news to me, because at least the cost of transporting goods and services would reduce. But the question remains, what is the CBN doing? We're talking this morning about how the NNPC says its profits has risen to $2.7 billion. Meanwhile, Saudi Aramco is declaring $161 billion in profit. Where are we getting it wrong? Over the weekend there's been accusations of one of the service chiefs in regards to oil theft and contract splitting and all of that in the oil sector. That's a big one. Many people are calling on the federal government and the president to open an investigation into that allegation, an allegation against the chief of naval staff that says there's contract splitting and there's in the oil sector, oil thefts going on in that region. There may be complicity in that regard. That's a big one. If we continue to have oil theft and people just taking Nigerian natural resources, especially crude oil, and taking it out and just making monies, and they're unable to account for it, something needs to be done. It's our biggest foreign exchange earner, crude oil, at the moment, officially in the books. So why are we not paying attention to it and making sure that there is transparency in that sector? NATI is accusing the NNPC of not remitting about 2 trillion or so. And the NNPC is saying, no, they did not withhold any funds and all of that. It's a back and forth. But NATI has always said, look, the NNPC seems not to be remitting as much as they should. The NNPC is also saying that the NATI report isn't true. But again, who do we believe? Join the conversation. Let's get talking. Some of you have been trying to join in. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Send me SMS and WhatsApp messages on 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hanacho.
Good morning, Comrade Haruna. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Week.
I wish you the same.
Alright, Mr. Hanacho, it seems some of our leaders are not in reality of this country. Some of them speak as if they are not in this country. They don't know what the common Nigerian passes through on a daily basis.
Of course they don't.
Because if the governor of Imo State knows what common Nigerians are facing on a daily basis, shouldn't have come on air and talk to Nigerians that way and says they were able to, because of the removal of subsidy, they removed the cabal from the system, things are moving fine. There's a question being asked, he refused to answer it. Why can't they face the cabal head on Since you know them, since you can identify the cabal, why can't you face them, take them to court, and present your evidence? Then they will face the wrath of the law. You and I, the common masses, are facing the hardship. From that very statement, Mr. President says subsidy. See, even the United States of America subsidizes power for our citizens. Where are we in global ranking? They should just find a way to fix this. Okay, he's saying that they've removed the cabal that control our forex to the exchange rate of dollar to naira today. Before they came to office, dollar have never clicked 1,000 naira. APC government took us now is about 1,500 naira at the parallel market. I don't know what these people are thinking. They are not sure. It seems I'll stop talking on air because it's annoying. I'm so emotional about this country.
I get your feeling, but we'd never stop talking. This is our country. I mean, if the best we can do is talk, we can't take up arms. What we do is keep talking till we get to that better place, till we find people who would do what we need them to do. Thank you very much for being a part of the conversation, Comrade Haruna. Really appreciate your thoughts. I mean, Nigerians are quite emotional about this. The situation of things in the country, it's getting out of hand by the day. Hello, good morning.
Thank you, my prince.
Thank you, Obasanjo.
The passenger from Amali, Niger State. My prince, thanks yesterday for sharing that that word after the conversation between him and Hope Uzodinma, that is there as a senator was talking what. Thanks for sharing that, giving that thing. Most of Nigerians, sir, if we elected president like you just said now, other countries, Saudi Arabia, they are benefiting. How much the revenue? They are clapping hands. The giant Africans cannot do that with amount of oil that we have in this country. We cannot have anything to show off. In 2023, like Atiku and now Peter Obi, we refused to come together. That is why we are facing all these challenges. Why? Because Atiku that time said, in a country where people are, if we don't elect who know the importance of Nigerians, who know the marketing of Nigerians, wallahi, we will go back. And that is what we are seeing. We are not seeing anything. There's no generating of anything. It's generating of killing. It's generating of making Nigerians hardship. It's generating of making some people leaving the country. Who are these cabals? Cabal started when Buhari came on board. Well, I've been asking cabal. Who are these cabals that they cannot be mentioned? Think yesterday, Shehu asked him, as if this cabal, they are the one that sponsor insecurity. He refused to give that answer. If you give that answer, for us to know who are these cabals, a minister will come, cabals, who are them? Because you have opportunity, people electing you to be a governor, your house, you're filled up with food, a lot of everything is there. You don't think about the masses of this country. Where are we heading to? Where are we heading to, my prince?
Big question. Where we're heading to. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Obasanjo, for calling. Now we keep asking this question: where are we heading to? I've had people say, "Where are we going to? What's going to be?" You know, the fact is, people in government cannot really point us in the direction of where the country is going. They can't really point you and paint a clear picture or a vision for where they hope to get us and get the country, and how soon they can get that. Recall, I mean, even the interviewer asked the governor, how soon, how long, can we wait? And they couldn't provide an answer. This is the governor of the progressive, the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum. He says he coordinates, moderates meeting of about 20 governors in the country, and they cannot readily paint us a picture of where we're going and how we hope to get there. All right. In board meetings, and you get to a board meeting, those who have plans come up to the podium to present their plans and their vision and how they hope to drive and achieve those goals and all of that. That's what we should be seeing, so that the president can clearly tell Nigerians this is where we're going. A governor can come out to the state and tell the people of the state where they're going and how they hope to arrive at that place. It seems like the biggest question we're not asking is how. We're not always asking how. Again, I said this in 2020, 2021, 2022. I was always hammering until the elections. Ask these people how they intend to achieve what they say they want to achieve, because a lot of them, that's where the missing link is. And in the how do you hope to do it? If Naira is currently trading at 1,500 Naira, how do you hope to reverse the trend? That's the question. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good to you. My name is Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington, good to have you. How are you today?
I'm fine. How was the weekend, sir?
Oh, very, very well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for the great job.
Appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Said, just a brief one. Like our last caller, the caller before I came in, he was emphasizing on who is the Kaaba. Is that true, Mr. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, okay. The last caller was emphasizing on who is the Kaaba. With my own understanding, Nigeria politicians, as many that have access to have the meeting called SEC meeting, and as many that have access as a tough politician, seeing Tinubu every now and then, I think they are the cabals of this country. What is it called? This Ropus or Dima? I think sometimes I'll just be sitting down and be wondering. So there are some politicians that they'll just be talking for talking sake. They don't really know what is happening in this country. This same person that is talking about the Kaaba today, if you ask him the next 3 years, he will still talk about the Kaaba, even though they are about leaving the power. They will still talking about the Kaaba. But my prayer for them is that God will open their eyes to see what we are passing through, so that at least they can reduce some things for us. Because what Nigeria is passing through, the politicians they will not know. So what you don't know, you can't talk about it. I don't know if you are getting me. They don't know anything. All what they know is to approve billions of dollars so that they can use it to train their children, to buy the houses. So they don't know what we are facing. So you can't blame them when they come on there to talk anything anyhow. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And that's quite a thing. I'll share an experience with you shortly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chief Cosmos.
Yes,
good morning again.
Cosmos,
welcome.
I'm calling from Silesia. You see, I belong to a school of thought which says when a thought originates in your mind, pause a bit before you say it out. Because if you use that force, actually has it come to you, it may make minds, it may not to flare. That is me. Yes, the governor has spoken. I mean, Uzodimma. There in the government, they know what is happening. I remember during the time of Buhari, he mentioned about Kaaba. When he wanted to remove the oil subsidy, Nigeria shouted. He said this oil subsidy they are paying every month. They don't know what they are paying. They are from Kaaba. Who are hindering this oil subsidy, who are receiving much of the money than the citizens who have to receive. And it surprised me up to now. The Kaaba still exists after removal of the oil subsidy. Then government have to do their work, feed them out, block all the loopholes. Yes, there's Kaaba in everything. If a Nigerian finds himself in a place of authority today, it's a Kaaba. You don't care what other people are feeling. We have Kaaba in everything, even in our family. We have Kaaba. If you are contented, you don't care about others. Those people are Kaaba too. Yes, this is what is happening. If foreign exchange, they are Kaaba who benefit from it. If you want to do something good, they will stand on it. in oil, oil field, they are cabal. Those people that sell the oil through the back door, they make more money than the state. They are cabal. So the problem is this: if you have the willpower to remove this cabal, bring them out, feed them out.
That's where the question is. What's stopping us from removing the cabal, from taking them out of office and position?
Cabal belongs to the government. Some of them are in the opposition. When you want to remove them, they hit through the opposition. Someone said whether Cosmos is being paid through the government. Nothing. I don't receive anything. But there are certain things when I see, I don't want to talk so that we don't inflame minds. There are some untrained minds. When you say something as it is, it's go haywire.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Let's get more calls in. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my friends.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, my name is Omotayo, calling you from Galadimawa.
Welcome, Omotayo. Let's hear you, sir.
Okay. Concerning this conversation with Sean and the governor of
Imo State.
You see, if we remember some time ago, like when the election that Hope Uzodinma used to become the governor, it was a first position challenge issue in the court, that the court gave him victory even though he came at the first position in the election. But that's not the case. What Hope Uzodinma said yesterday, most of what he said yesterday on the interview with Shehu, if it were to be a country that knows that politicians being in office is not their right, it's a rare privilege, that Nigeria gave you the privilege to be in office to rule over, to oversee issues for them as part of the governors. It will not just go down the way it went down after the interview yesterday. Nigerians would have stood up their right and make sure that Hope Uzodinma and other politicians like him know that it is not, you don't just, the impunity it doesn't cover you to just come on air and say certain things just carelessly. Truly, one of the callers said the politicians are not in the reality of the people. Of course they are not. You want to tell me that Hope Uzodinma feels buying rice at almost 100,000 naira per bag? You want to tell me that these people go to the gas station and queue and buy for and fix something and with the stress that common Nigerians go through? You want to tell me that they enter public transport and pay high cost of this? These people don't feel all of these things. They survive on Nigerians, taxpayers' money. So they just come over and say things the way they like. See, Nigeria has just two problems. Number one, the judiciary. The judiciary has failed to live up to its responsibility by sending people to jail when they are sworn into office and they don't meet up with the criteria they swore to meet up with when they were being inaugurated into such offices. And Nigerian judiciary actually get to send a politician who stole billions to 7 years and less in prison. Meanwhile, he that stole just maybe less than 100,000 will be sent to life imprisonment. This is the fault of this is where the problem of Nigeria is. That's number one. The judiciary is absolutely, because if the judiciary don't send people who commit crimes like this in form of what's it called? Give me the word. Stealing money from the public office.
Looting and corruption.
God bless you. If they don't suffer for these things, really, what I mean suffer, you can imagine one of the cases that was just passed through recently, that during Obasanjo Jonathan's tenure, his case was just determined. Now he was sent to how many years? 7 years. The billions he stole, has he not completely spent it and enjoyed himself? You see, when justice is delayed, it is denied. Yes, somebody has completely spent the money and enjoyed it, has bought these things, riches and wealth, amassed wealth rest and keep it for himself, and then you are not sending him how many years later to 7 years in prison. This is not justice. That's number one. And then number two, briefly, Nigerians have become too timid to stand up and demand for their rights. Until we stand up and demand for our rights, Christiana Cho, all of this our calling and talking on air will not stop. These politicians feel it's their right to be in power, not a privilege. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a privilege for them.
Well done. Well said.
So we need to make them understand it.
Thank you very much. The power actually belongs to the people, and until the people realize that power belongs to them, they would continue to be subservient and we continue to be slaves to those who they should, who are there to serve them, as a case may be. I'm going to bring in more callers now. 09073530044 and 09087668888. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You're discussing the simple fact that it seems like that it's a no-brainer. Our political class and elite class somewhat disconnect from the reality of the country, from the realities that face the people. I don't want to say common. I don't like to say common people. The regular Nigerians, okay? Elite class are totally disconnected. I was going to tell you a story about someone I met some time ago who didn't know anything about what's going on in the country, somewhat because they were insulated from the realities of Nigeria and other Nigerians. Hello, good morning.
Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Edward. Welcome.
Yes. Senator, you were asking about the cabal. So many callers are asking about the cabal. Sorry, my name is Honorable Edward.
Welcome.
Senator, the cabals are very easy to be identified. It is you, everybody. Give me opportunity now in Nigeria, I will still do the same. What we are seeing now, some of us who are saying the truth, we are becoming enemies to this country because we are saying the truth and we cannot even have access to, the system again because we refuse to, say the truth. We keep on saying we are the prophet to ourselves. If we give this one tomorrow because this one was bad, the same thing will still happen. We have been talking about cabal for how many years? Who is it? Is cabal? Is it not human being? How can we stop this cabal from oppression? Who is this guy? If you go to any ministry, let me just tell you something. We complain about National Assembly members coming to to embezzle the Commonwealth. Let me tell you something. The civil servant in the service, they are the ones. Once you get to National Assembly, they will tell you this is how to go about it. This is how to go. This thing will make you to think twice. Even in budgeting, in anything we are doing, they will install this. Come, this is the way you go about it. Do this, do this, do this. So members came to National Assembly without knowing left and right. That is the truth. So even those that have been there for long, they see expose all this thing to them. When are we going to church? We must block the leakages. That is just the answer. Who will do that for us? That is the problem. You must send the same thing every day. Cabal. What is cabal? Who is that name called cabal? It's all about.
Thank you very much, Honorable Edward. Thank you so much. You remember the Buhari administration, where even the wife of the president came up and said that a cabal had got her husband's government. But again, this cabal never left. It seems like the cabal is bigger than the government, it's bigger than the people who we elect to represent us and lead us. It just seems like wherever these cabal are or whoever they are, they just seem to be more powerful than the state. Does that make sense? In a state where powers lie with the government, people seem to be stronger than the government. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well. What's your name, sir?
Well done.
Yes, what's your name? I can hardly hear you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Abdullah, calling from Bari, Abuja.
Abdullah, good to have you.
Yes, thank you very much. You see, you want to contribute on the issue of the security situation in the country. You see, since we have massive unemployment and the majority of those looking for the employment are youth from various sections of this country, and most of them are graduates. Why not government make provision to employ or recruit additional security officers in the country to be able to tackle the insecurity? Since the Inspector General of the Police in Nigeria has already mentioned that we are lagged with more than 200 and something thousand police. That is one aspect of the security. Then he did not even mention about other aspects of the security, like the DSS and the soldiers and what have you. So in a situation where we are up to 200 and something million in the country, and we have less than, I think it will not overwhelm in tackling the insecurity situation in the country. So the most important thing is that let's declare state of emergency on the issue of security or the insecurity situation in the country, so that it will give the government ample opportunity to channel all the resources, or 70% of the resources, on the recruitment of additional security agencies nationwide, and ensuring that they are stationed in all the state of the federation, so that we can be able to cover up the insecurity situation in the country.
All right.
Because if we are able to do that, then the issue of insecurity will be a matter of.
Okay. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's recruit more people, declare a state of emergency on insecurity. Quite important that we do so. But again, every aspect, in every sector, you hear that there's a cabal that has hijacked it. There's a cabal this, there's a cabal that. Why don't we dismantle this cabal? What is stopping us from dismantling this cabal? Seems like everyone who comes into office comes in with their own cabal, right? That's what it is. Always been the same way. Even in the military, regimes, we had situations where people come in with their own cabal, and even when those people are not doing well, when the members of their cabal are not doing well, they cannot sack them, because it seems like it's a full package. It's a whole package. They come together. They can't divorce themselves from those people. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my prince. I'm back again. John from Suleja.
John, good to have you.
What both of them said, you can liken it to what happened in the morning. When somebody will tell us about the newspaper over reporting the whole of this. See, when you don't see what people are going through, that's what you're going to say. Maybe you are looking for one kind of favor from the government or the other. That would be where I look at it. You have to know yourself, both of them. For how many months now has he paid his workers that led to zero problem to that mess when he wanted to process? So you take care of your own state first before you begin to talk about what is happening in the federal. If the ministers of Kaba, they are always there running that. The question is, are they bigger than the government? As he pointed out, the cabal, this and that. Is this cabal bigger than? We have another government. That is why you talk on the morning about the first state. If there is another government inside the same government, that means we are in a very serious trouble. That means there is another government in the same government that are running them down. This one is protecting their interests, and you cannot kick them out. You cannot investigate what is happening, and you punish them according to what they deserve. I say they will come and tell us story. My place, are you expecting me to go and arrest this cabal? Am I the one in position to go and arrest? Am I the one in position to go and investigate them? Why do you give you power for the first time? You are coming to give me all these language movies that Nigerians don't want to hear, because you are going through pains of insecurity, pains of economic failure, and you are expecting me that elected you, or those that elected you, to go and do the same job you're supposed to do. If you cannot do it, then now, no need for this thing. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you. This is not a climb where people resign. Even when people lose their lives in hundreds, in one day, hundreds of people die in one day. Nobody resigns for that failure in security or in the aspect of security. The naira loses its value by close to 100%, and nobody loses their job on account of that. By the way, we're not a failed state. Those of you who have been saying, "Oh, no, we're not a failed state." What I tried to do was let you in on the several definitions and the several levels of governance and all. There is a failing state. That's when it's going to, it's almost at the brink of failing. And then there's a failed state. At least at the moment, we still have a situation where our government still has a function to do development functions and all of that. But we need to be very, very careful so we don't fall off, the cliff. Because if we do, it's going to be dire. There's going to be dire consequences. Already, we're dealing with a whole lot. Nigerians are suffering, economically and all of that. But we can rescue this nation as a people, and and as a government, we can rescue this nation if we want to. The countries that have gone through worse. There was a time when Greece was going through, it was like the worst economy in the world. But they recovered through decisive actions. They were able to come back. We can recover from this. We really can recover from this. But we need to get serious and have honest conversations about the true situation of things. Not people coming out to say, "Oh, things are not as bad." They're blackmailing the governments. They're blackmailing us. Opposition is, people are sponsoring opposition or, sponsoring the media to say this and say that. Why don't we just sit down at the table and have honest conversations? If you're a governor, you sit with your cabinet and look at the true issues. Again, I say this. Someone said the government is always, truly disconnect from the people. And that's some truth, because the reality, there's a gap, in what we actually see as reality. I was speaking to somebody. I was going to tell you that story. I spoke to somebody a couple of months ago, and she said, "How can a grown man say he doesn't have up to 100,000 naira in his accounts? How? I'm just 21 and I've never been broke to the point where I have 500,000 in my account." Of course, that's the challenge. She can never ever relate to the fact that some people are looking for 100 naira to eat breakfast or to eat something for the day. It's impossible. Another one, people, and that's why some of our elites would say that the insecurity in the country is exaggerated, because they move around fully secured. How can they ever think that people are being kidnapped? It wouldn't make sense to them that people can be in their homes and they're kidnapped because they have all the security. They forget that these people don't have that kind of security. Now, how many times you see anyone who is up there in government move around without security? It's almost impossible. They drive around in bulletproof cars. That they know that the situation is not very good. They do know, but because it doesn't affect us, well, we're insulated, right? We're protected, and so the people can do whatever. But if, like someone asked this morning, if your son or your daughter or someone who's really close to you is affected by the insecurity, let's say they abducted or something, then you'd actually feel the pain of the people who are helpless. Some days, you have some hope, but some other days it just feels like all your hope has been dashed. With the allegations flying all over the place, it just makes you want to believe that all that our people care about, our leaders care about, is the money. How to make the mullah, put the monies in their pockets, in their accounts. Because the extent of the economy cannot be bad and bring the wealth, stealing and looting billions of naira and sometimes even dollars. It's sad. It is sad. I'll bring in this final caller as we close. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
good morning, Bibi Blessing. Good to have you.
I will pray for you. The Lord is your friend.
Amen.
Yeah?
Thank
I
you.
know how the people touch you. God will continue to protect you, protect your family, protect your radio. You know, when we dey hear about Kaban, I greet our caller, a man of Matrixo or Ghana. I hear Kaban. This Kaban, I want to hear. Now, God today, now they call Kaban. I didn't know the human being. Yes, good. This woman called patient Mohammed. I got the husband. Let them make your husband see road. See now. See not there. Bukhari not there again. Who be Kaban? And then if you say I will go there, the people vote for common minimum wage they cannot pay. This government say they don't even know what is the market. They don't dey go our market. They never go know how much we pure water. They don't even know how much we move of rice. And they go just sit down there. They are chopping people money. Nobody can arrest them. Nobody can call their question. They dey there to keep their family for working good for them. Their family no good there for Nigeria. And that is the thing. I even tell now say what we can do for this Nigeria. When we block airport, we go dey follow the same road.
Thank you very much, Bibi Blessing. No, I didn't get that. Block where? No, don't do that on radio, please. Let's not do that. Let's continue to prevail on our leaders. You have a local government, start from there. You have a House of Rep member or State Assembly member, start from there. You have a senator, start just talk to them, engage them. Get them to see reasons. Get them to see that the more they steal, because it doesn't make sense. The corruption in this country doesn't make sense. Get them to see that the more they steal and loot public wealth, the more the situation deteriorates and everyone loses out at the end of the day. I'm just going to leave it here. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of the conversation. Martha, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How was your weekend?
It was restful.
Like that one. What's the plan for the week? What's the plan for today on the show?
Same story. I mean, same old story. Because if I've heard 1, 2, 3 tell me about a cabal, why are they not called for questions?
He had said that there was a